welcome to another day of Frost Fatal 2022. I am kungfufruitcup, and I hope that you have been enjoying the week so far. It's been amazing. So proud of everything that's happened. All of the donations raised. Thank you all so much for your support. Looks like we are over $64,000 raised so far with Malala Fund. And speaking of Malala Fund, I am here today doing another live interview, this time with Lena Alfi, who is the Chief Development Officer with Malala Fund. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. I'm so excited about today and getting to talk with you.
We're so excited to be here, and we are so just thrilled at how much support we've been receiving from you guys, and thank you so much for having us and for everything you guys are doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's no problem. Well, you know what? Today here we are here to talk about you and what you do. So
Great.
You are a Chief Development Officer, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about kind of what that entails. Like, what's your day-to-day like?
Well, my day-to-day is leading the best team in the organization. They are fantastic. They work with supporters all around the world who want to support girls' education. They let people know what we're doing. They run campaigns. They send out emails. They have lots of conversations with students and companies and whoever it might be to try to raise awareness about girls' education. So I oversee the team that does all of our fundraising, all of our partnerships, and we try to raise money for girls' education.
That's awesome. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about then, like, what have you been working on with that over the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 3 months? Like, any big projects that you've been doing?
Yeah, we've been focused on some obviously crises that are happening around the world.
Of course.
Of course. So COVID-19, we've had a huge response to sort of schools being shut down in response to COVID-19. And in lots of places where now schools are reopening, in many places that's not the case. And girls are still being sort of kept from either returning back to the classroom or don't have access to digital education platforms, don't have access to, being able to get to school on Zoom or things like that. So we are trying to raise awareness around that and around our initiative to make sure girls can keep learning in some of those environments. So we are funding a series of programs that are trying to broadcast lessons on the radio, trying to show lessons on the TV, just any way to access, making sure girls can access still education and ways to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. So I
have
like
a lavender honey latte.
Makes me think about like some of the programs you said on the TV. Like, have you been able to kind of tune into any of those or see like how they're able to break it down? Like, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the programs in Pakistan. And it's with one of our longstanding partners. And even before COVID, they had developed an app that was turning education lessons into games. Something I know this audience appreciates.
We understand, yeah.
Exactly. And just recognizing that for some kids who might have dropped out of school, trying to lure them back in with converting lessons into games as something fun and interesting to kind of get them back interested and want to go back to school was a great transition sort of tactic. And so they created lessons that really look like video games and sort of get girls learning. And so they started broadcasting those. Through our funding, we helped sort of transition those into more TV content. So they partnered with the Pakistani national television and were able to broadcast these lessons on national TV, which reached like over 10 million girls.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay, that's like more than I expected. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. And plus, obviously, like you said, like we understand like video games and
totally, and the power of it.
Yeah, it really is. It's really like a strong tool to use, and I think that's really smart that you all did that because there's just so much engagement and stimulation you can get through video games and including like education and learning in that. I feel like I have learned some growing up playing video games. Like it develops skills in different ways, and you can like include information like, oh, I know about this historical fact randomly because I played this game. So you really never know what can be included in that.
Yeah, and it's like, being able to, in some instances where you can't go have those real life experiences because COVID is out there, seeing a character being able to do it sort of gives you, it puts the lesson into practice and you can sort of see it. And so this platform's called Talimabad, and it's in Pakistan specifically, and this organization Orenda has been developing it for years, and they're amazing.
That's really cool.
So creative.
Do you think like that would be something you're going to try to kind of expand out more outside of Pakistan as well?
So theirs is pretty contextualized based on that curriculum, and they work in Pakistan, but we work with so many other partners. I mean, we have over 70 partners at this point, each of them sort of doing a different project. Theirs is the most sort of gaming focused, but we have tons of other partners that use other sort of innovative ways to access girls in their communities based on sort of the local context.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then I know a little bit about, like you were mentioning earlier, kind of before we started this officially, but I feel like this has some relation to maybe why you got involved in Malala Fund. Can you tell me, like what inspired you, what brought you in?
So I had previously been working with an organization that was supporting Syrian refugees, and I am Syrian, and sort of this was kind of in the height of that crisis. Back in like 2014, 15, and Malala Fund was one of our partners. And they were just so incredible in the way that they worked with partners who were helping girls. And so I was sort of on the other end of it, and I was seeing sort of just the compassion and the way that they brought funding and resources and network and sort of pulled every string they could to make sure programs for girls were thriving as much as they could. And so sort of being on that end of it made me want to work with them. And then ironically, my office ended up being in the same building as them, and I got to know some of the team and literally went up a floor to be in their office, which was really cool. Yeah, so then I ended up transitioning over to Malala Fund, and I've been working with them for, God, this will be my 5th year.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so you're one of the longest working members that I've been able to speak with, which is awesome. That was going to be my follow-up, was how long have you been with Malala Fund? But yeah, that's really cool. So it's been a long time. You've really been working to kind of better people for quite a while now, it sounds like. And you said before this you were working kind of with refugees. You're saying Syrian refugees. Like what kind of things do you think Malala Fund has been able to do to help out in that situation?
So they were incredible in raising awareness about sort of the issue of, there are refugee issues all over the world. And of course, there is so much that comes with the refugees' experience. And one of the biggest losses is oftentimes education for children and sort of the instability of not being able to go to school every day. And once you're out for a really long time, it's so much harder to go back. And so there are some organizations that really understand sort of that challenge and really try to focus on how do we get girls re-enrolled? How do we at least keep them learning as much as we can? How do we keep sort of education as a key part of their life, which really is such a huge source of hope and a huge source of being able to like find comfort and stability and some level of normalcy in such an abnormal circumstance.
Yeah.
So with Syrian refugees, I was in refugee camps with them. I understood and saw the power of education as like their favorite hour of the day, their favorite moment of the day. And for organizations that get that and sort of get that power, like it's just so powerful. And so Malala Fund really understands that there are way too many girls around the world who don't get to go to school. And, there are people that have the power to change that. There are activists who are really working to and who understand those challenges. And oftentimes what they need are just the resources to be able to do it. And so Malala Fund's mission is not, let's go around and build schools. There are too many girls around the world who are out of school that you can't build enough schools to get them back in. How do we hold governments accountable to serve their people? How do we make sure they're funding their public schools enough and reaching all the girls in their community and making sure there's transportation to get them there? And, how are we actually holding them accountable so that systems are responding to girls better? And so Malala Fund just gets the root problem of making sure systems reach girls.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, really, really good to hear. And again, I know it's all centered around girls' education, but it's just hearing these examples and hearing these things that you're all able to do is just really incredible. Excuse my voice. Had a smoothie. But so within all your years at Malala Fund, especially since you've been working there for so long, I this might be a hard question to answer, but is there one experience that you've had since starting with Malala Fund that has really stood out to you, like something really meaningful or really impactful?
Oh gosh, there have been so many. Let me think. Well, I've had sort of the privilege of being able to get to know Malala herself over the last few years and sort of traveling with her. And there was this one time where we were I don't even remember. I think we were in Toronto, and there was an event, and it was really crowded. This is pre-COVID, and lots of people wanted to come talk to her, and there was a little girl sort of hidden in the crowd, and she obviously was like a fan, and she really wanted to see her, and Malala was like, forget all these adults, and went straight for the little girl, and said something to the effect of you should always believe in your voice. You can do anything. There's nothing you can't do. And to see this girl's reaction and to see her light up, it just reminded me how important it is for girls to have such positive role models. And Malala is so humble in her approach and probably wouldn't even want me telling the story, but it's really just about girls being able to see that they can be anything and to hear that they can be anything and sort of to hear Malala say that to somebody and to see a girl's reaction. And, I've just seen that so many times. That it sticks with you. It sticks with you, and it makes me want to say to every single girl that I run into, you can do anything. Your voice can go to so many places, and that's really the heart of Malala Fund, is really making sure girls' voices are heard, no girl is ever too young to do anything. No girl is ever, from anywhere, shouldn't ever feel that there's a block from her being able to achieve her dreams.
Yeah, that's super cute. Okay, I love hearing like heartwarming things like that. And like I get it, even though it seems small, it can just have such an impact. Yeah, it says so much, and it says so much about Malala's character. Now, you've also been able to work with her, many times, right? So like how has that been, like your relationship with her and experiences with her?
It's been incredible. She is as genuine and is as sort of authentic as you could imagine. I mean, really, she lives and breathes and believes in this mission so much, and she really believes that in her lifetime, every single girl will be in school. And knows that, there are 130 million girls out of school. That number is daunting. It is huge, but it is a problem she so believes that we can tackle as a society. And so her determination and her drive is really, it sort of permeates to everybody on the team, because there is no problem that we can't solve. And so our problem is girls' education, girls being out of school, and girls' education is sort of our mission. And so sort of having her spirit like help push us forward is really powerful. Yeah, she's a great person to sort of lead a movement.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was just looking and was like, we haven't touched upon this yet.
I know, this perfectly placed bag right here.
This is like, oh my gosh, it just happened to just land here. It just sort of fell here so perfectly. Tell us a little about this.
Yes.
So cute.
So I don't know if you guys could tell, but around anywhere there might be tons of Malala branded this or that, or there's tons of Malala branded things out there. And so we decided, let's do our own sort of merchandise store. And so this is Malala Fund's official merch, one of many options. We have tote bags, we have baby onesies, we have t-shirts, mugs, posters.
Cute.
And the best part is that we worked with girl artists from around the world who actually developed all the designs. So these are all ways for us to showcase really incredible female artists from the countries where we work. And I don't remember specifically which artist this one is, but there are lots of really fantastic ones. You guys should check them out.
Yeah.
Store.malala.org. So.
That's right, store.malala.org. That's so easy to remember, too.
I know.
So easy to
Next
check out.
time you need a gift, check it out.
Yeah, look, it's so cute. It even has like a actual quote. If one girl with an education can change the world, just imagine what 130 million can do. Oh, I love that.
I know.
That's awesome. All right. Well, this has been such a pleasure to talk with you today. And before I let you go, I am curious to see your own experiences now that you've been here at the GDQ studio, seeing kind of behind the scenes. Like, I was curious about your experience. Like, do you have any experience gaming? Did you know much about Games Done Quick? Like, is this a new thing for you?
Okay. I'm not going to lie. I've been out of practice for several years because I have two little kids who are climbing all over me all the time. But when I was in high school, I loved video games. And my brother would have these like Halo nights with all of his friends. And they totally discarded me, but then I would come in and play with them and I would beat all of them. So girls can do anything.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And so this is your first time here with us, and what has it been like for you? Like kind of interacting with Games Done Quick. Like,
it's been incredible. You guys have been such an amazing community. You've been so supportive. I mean, this is our fourth time now working together. Coming to the studio has been so fun, and we haven't been able to do it because of COVID. But now that we're here, this team is unreal. They are so nice. They are so dedicated and so committed to this cause and really passionate. And so thank you for having us. We are so excited to be here.
Yeah, of course. Well, obviously, it's been such a pleasure, like I already said. And I just feel like we get a lot of inspiration from you all as well, because seeing like how you can do so much for girls around the world, it's like inspires our wonderful community of ladies involved in this event. And, it's been awesome working with everyone here too. So thank you so much for chatting with me today, Lena. Everything that Malala Fund is doing, you can always read those assembly stories that we've mentioned in other interviews. What are assembly stories, you ask? Well, you have to go to assembly.malala.org and you can read about all these awesome things that girls have done, including, some of the examples that she's been speaking about today. So thank you, everybody. So excited for the Sonic block coming up. Have you played any Sonic games before?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Well, you'll get to see them happening.
Yay, I can't wait to watch.
Yes.
Good luck.
In just a few minutes. But yes, thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you soon.